Welcome to Poopcast, Episode 2. I'm Jimmy Davis.
And I'm a guy that loves pooping.
And today... Oh, sorry. You can introduce yourself. I don't think we'll record that. We have our first guest today. I'll let you talk.
Now?
Yeah, you can go.
I'm TheMasterPoop.
Alright, and as you can tell, with this is only our second actual episode. We're still kind of trying to figure things out. I think it's probably best to just kind of keep it, feeling real, so we're going to try not to do any cuts or anything like that, but maybe you don't know who TheMasterPoop is. He's how long have you been making YTPs?
Well, there's a different answer between how long I've been making them and how long I've been uploading them. But, my first one that's still on the channel was uploaded in 2012.
Okay, so you have been around for quite a while. You just don't really have like hundreds of YTPs like some people do.
No, I've got like 4 main ones and sort of little videos in between.
Okay, yeah, but I think if you've never seen any of his videos, you've definitely at least seen his thumbnails. He, I've seen him in related videos and stuff like that, because they have, I think most of them have around 1 million views each, right?
All of them, apart from the latest one, have over 1 million views.
Okay.
But it took quite a while for them to get to that point.
All right.
But once one of them got 1 million views, suddenly the rest of them did as well. So it's weird.
Yeah. And they're very, very well edited. Harry Potter YouTube poops mostly. You also have a Thomas the Tank Engine YouTube poop.
Yep, which is on Daily Motion.
Yeah. But anyway, so what the way that we plan to do this is kind of a bit of like an interview, kind of a bit like a conversation. So we'll start out with a question, kind of like a vague question. You can just kind of start telling your story, and we might kind of interrupt here and there to ask questions. But the first thing I want to start out with is how did you first discover YouTube Poop? Everything leading up from when you first discovered it up to when you decided to start making your own.
I think the first YouTube people I watched was I think it was someone called Santa with Teeth, and he did SpongeBob ones.
Okay, yeah,
I think
oh, sorry.
That was one of the I think first SpongeBob YouTube poopers that were around at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually wanted to make YouTube poops very early on, like back in 2007. Like my account was actually made in 2007.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I actually really hate my name, TheMasterPoop.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask, because I was kind of wondering why TheMasterPoop and not like TheMasterPooper or something like that.
Yeah. Well, it's just I mainly don't like it because it sounds really egotistical.
Oh yeah.
Sort of my own arse. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse.
No, yeah, I'm not gonna make you censor yourself.
Yeah, it kind of makes me sound full of myself. For that reason, I don't really like it much anymore. But it's too late to change it now. So, plus it's also kind of like a sentence. Like TheMasterPoop. It's not like a name. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well as other names do.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me nitpicking myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I made like one really old SpongeBob YouTube video, which is absolutely terrible. Like if I were to upload that now, no one would recognise my style in an hour at all. It was completely different.
Was it ever uploaded?
One of them was, but it was removed for copyright, so I just didn't bother. So I think at that point I just gave up, and then I sort of went in my own direction. Like I sort of got pretty good with like visual effects, just sort of doing my own projects. Yeah,
that's the other thing I was kind of wondering about was have you had any like training for visual effects? Because your visual effects are easily the best out of any YouTube pooper that I know of.
Thanks. No, well, I'm sort of self-taught. Obviously, I've seen loads of tutorials and everything, but I've not really had any proper education with it.
Okay.
So.
Have you ever considered making a career out of visual effects, or is it more of a hobby to you?
It's a hobby, but the dream is to make it a career in some way at some point.
Okay.
That's what I would like to get into, but whether or not that happens, we'll wait and see.
Yeah. The thing about editing and visual effects, stuff like that, it's not exactly like a regular job that you can just kind of apply for. You kind of have to know.
There isn't really a set way to get into that industry, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember where I was. What was the last question?
I think you had mentioned that you had made a couple of SpongeBob YTPs kind of early on.
Yeah.
And you said that you created the channel in 2007?
Yeah, I think it was 2007, around that time.
So did you have any uploads to it before your first Harry Potter YouTube poop, or was there?
Yeah, there was the one SpongeBob poop which got removed for copyright. Then I just sort of gave up and went in my own direction.
Okay.
And then I did one My Little Pony poop.
How is that? Is that nowhere to be found right now, then?
If you search for it, I think someone's uploaded it in like a compilation video, like different My Little Pony poops.
Okay.
If you type in, I'm not saying do this now, I'm just saying for anyone listening, YTP My Little Pony, the 3 Tribes of Death.
Okay.
I think you should find it in the compilation video, and that's not really quite what my current style is. So again, it would seem a bit weird.
So it wasn't like your visual effects heavy YouTube poops then?
No, although there were like more effects than what I did in my SpongeBob ones back in the day.
Okay, so what was Santa with Teeth your only inspiration, or is he just like the oldest one that you can think of?
No, he was the first one I remember watching. There's loads of people I've seen since. Obviously, yours truly.
Because I've noticed that you don't seem to really be subscribed to too many channels, and
no, that's because it's not my main channel.
Okay.
It's a secondary channel. My main channel is just my name, which is Jack Bullet.
Right.
I'm subscribed to loads of different, just channels in general on there, including YouTube people.
All right. So, just who would you say, who are some of your current favorite YouTube poopers then?
That's something obvious which I'm forgetting. Well, I really enjoy yours, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't have suggested the podcast. Trying to think. I'm trying to just go through my subscriptions, see if I can jog my memory.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, your YouTube poops are very unique in the fact that they are very, very well edited in terms of special effects, and so I'm just kind of curious to know what kind of YouTube poops you watch in your own time then.
Surprisingly, quite sort of traditional ones. You'll note. I don't know. You might notice that in my most recent one, the style is slightly different to my other ones. I tried to make it a bit faster paced. Every time I make a new one, I try and make it faster paced. And put more jokes in there. So probably at some point my poops will just slowly evolve into every other YouTube poop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you always have the advantage of your special effects editing skills. So even if you do make it a super fast paced joke heavy YouTube poop, at least you'd have something to make it stand out then from the other ones.
Just trying to look for the YouTube poopers. Dathings 1 is obviously someone I've seen.
Okay,
yeah, someone I've subscribed to.
He was kind of the first one to really get me into modern YouTube poops, because before then, I'd only seen maybe a dozen YouTube poops up until I started watching The Things 1 back in 2013. I know The Things 1 tends to kind of get a little bit of a backlash from some people for being kind of a little bit too subtle, a little bit, he doesn't tend to do a lot of the like meme heavy ear rape type stuff that a lot of hardcore YouTube poop fans do, but I kind of think that's what makes his style enjoyable and accessible to people who are new to YouTube poop.
Yeah. Well, I don't do a lot of that, which is why probably a lot of people listening to this probably haven't even seen my stuff, even though a lot of people overall have.
Yeah.
It's sort of different audiences, really, different types of YouTube poop audiences.
Yeah. I think that's one of the cool things about YouTube poop is the fact that it's not you can't really narrow it down to one type of person. You know, there are so many different types of YouTube poops and different types of YouTube poopers that there's pretty much something for everybody, really.
Yeah. Hey, the chances are a lot of people listening to this probably don't even like my stuff. I've had a few people comment on my videos saying stuff like, "Oh, this shouldn't even be called a YouTube poop because this isn't what I think a YouTube poop should be or whatever."
Yeah. I've gotten. Actually, I don't know for sure if I've got any comments specifically like that, but I have. Well, actually, I think that my more story-based YTPs every once in a while I get somebody, confused about whether or not it actually qualifies as a YouTube poop because it's not, memes and jokes every 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, there was actually a point where I actually removed YTP from the title of the videos, but I decided to add it back in. Just because I wasn't sure. Even I was a bit on the fence about, I'm not sure, is this right, calling them YTPs or not? But, whatever.
Yeah.
Each to their own, everyone's got their own style.
Yeah, and I know, I know, for example, some people like to, kind of add a subgenre title to their YTPs, like, ones that are, like, story-based animated ones, they'll call it a flash poop or whatever, and I've kind of considered that, but I decided I don't really want to do that, because I feel like, all of my YouTube poops, I feel, are different from each other, and I don't feel the need to single out one specific type of YouTube poop.
We did that micro one, where it was that YouTube poop within the poop, which probably has that one where SpongeBob touched the strangler.
Oh yeah.
That probably has one of my favourite jokes that you've ever done, which is just where he says, "What are you going to do? Call the police?" "Yes, kid, I own the police."
Yeah.
It was just such an obvious but clever reference to. I don't know. I just found that really funny.
Yeah, I think sometimes the more obvious jokes tend to be can be the funnier jokes, because I think sometimes people seem to think it's too obvious, so nobody does.
Yeah, what I also love is play what you've done as well in one of your. I think it's the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends one, where you play off the obvious thing and then do something different with it. Where rather than Patrick touching whatever it is, the blue blob guy does.
Oh yeah. That was actually something that I picked up from Doug Walker, Nostalgia Critic. I'm pretty sure you're aware of him.
Yeah, I watched Nostalgia Critic. Yeah.
But actually, I don't think he came up with it. He just mentioned it before, where I forget what exactly it was, but it was something along the lines of if you're going to do a running joke, you should only do it the same twice, and then every time after that, change it up slightly. So I like running jokes and stuff like that throughout my YouTube poops, but so that's why I kind of like to change them up and keep people from being able to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Try to, anyway.
Yeah, I get that. There was meant to be a few running jokes in my poops, but a lot of them I just abandoned just because I thought best not just keep bringing them back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know some running jokes. Well, I guess it kind of has to be funny to begin with. I know, like, in my really early YouTube poops, for some reason I decided that I wanted to add Michael Rosen into every one of my YouTube poops, and so up until my which one is it? It's Christmas Eve in Hyrule. That was the first one where I didn't include Michael Rosen, and I decided that it was best not to. But I guess since then I still do add him in a lot of my YouTube poops, and I've even got some people complaining that I shoehorn him in sometimes.
Oh, well, I always love a bit of Michael Rosen. I put him in my latest one.
With Michael Rosen, it's just he has such a huge variety of stuff to choose from. It's really hard not to put him into a YouTube poop.
Yeah. It's like I used him as like a reaction in my latest one.
Yeah. He's kind of like really kind of like JonTron in that sense. That really basically anything that you can come up with Michael Rosen reaction shot for. Yeah.
Well, I love JonTron as well. I've not managed to put him in a poop yet, but there's still time.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of on-running jokes, there was meant to be in my first two, Flesh Eating Slug Repellent Part 1 and Part 2, you just see Santa Claus in them, just like this one image of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And that was meant, and for some reason, I don't really know why I decided to do it, but I thought, oh, I want to put that in all of them for some reason. Just that picture of Santa Claus, just at some point everywhere. And that was also in the My Little Pony one that I mentioned earlier. That picture of Santa Claus appears in that, but I thought it's so stupid. It's not even like a funny joke.
Yeah. I
just abandoned it.
I remember I kind of did that again for a while on my subscriber specials. I used to reference the movie Milk Money. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Nostalgia Critics reviews.
Yeah, I swear every time I watch that review of the movie is so much worse than I remembered it being. It's such a...
I've never seen the film, but I know of it.
Yeah, I've never actually seen it either. I think they might have it on Netflix. I was actually thinking of watching that just because, but it's just such a bizarre concept for a movie. I don't even know how they managed to get that made. But anyway, so I used to, in all my subscriber specials, reference that, and I don't... Actually, again, the last place you saw it was Christmas Eve in Hyrule, even though that wasn't a subscriber special.
Well, another thing I was going to do, like, with each of my Harry Potter ones was, you see it with in part 2 of my Flesh Eating Slug part 1, which is the Chamber of Secrets book. That at the end it's revealed that there was actually this green box just randomly placed throughout the film.
Okay.
Or throughout the poop. And that was going to be something I'd do for all of them, just place like some hidden object in every poop somewhere just to see if people would pick up on it. But again, that was something I just... it was kind of funny and unexpected the first time, but there's no point doing it a second time.
Yeah, I think that's kind of something I've noticed. It seems like a lot of YouTube poopers, when they first start out, they have a sort of gimmick that they try to implement in like all their videos or whatever, and they eventually just kind of drop it because they realize there wasn't really much of a point to begin with.
Yeah, well, I'm heavily planning my next poop now. Well, not right this second, but I've been doing it over the past few days.
Mm-hmm.
And already the jokes I've come up with are quite different in style and tone.
Okay. Is it another Harry Potter one then?
Yes.
Okay.
The interesting thing is, which I can exclusively reveal, is rather than doing the next Harry Potter film, which is Goblet of Fire, I'm going back to the first one and doing Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone as it is in America.
Yeah, I don't know why they had to change that in America, but...
Yeah, so that's the next one that I'm doing. I'm not doing the fourth one yet.
Okay.
I'm doing the first one.
The thing is, interesting thing about your Harry Potter YouTube poops is that I can be fully interested in the entire thing, and I've only ever seen the first Harry Potter movie one time.
Yeah, well, I did saying that I did kind of make them, as well as for like a more casual audience, I also sort of make it for Harry Potter fans. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, you will probably get more out of it because there might be some obscure Harry Potter jokes or references that only... Sorry, my voice just cracked then.
Yeah.
That only Harry Potter fans would get.
Yeah. I do plan on watching the movies at some point. I just never got a chance to watch them as a kid, and I just watched just watched the first one. I think it was only like maybe 2 years ago. But I do plan on watching the rest of them, and I'm sure, excuse me, I'm sure I'd be able to get more out of your YTPs than after watching it. But like I said, even without having seen them, I can still fully enjoy them.
Yeah. Well, one of the main types of jokes I did was always like sex jokes, and I know a lot of people some people think they're too much, some people just don't like them or think I've overdone them.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I was a little bit hesitant at first to really fully get into it, because I'm fine with
it's an acquired taste.
Yeah, I'm fine with some sex jokes. I think the thing with yours is just the fact that they're so well edited that it really kind of catches you off guard.
Yeah, well, it's like, I think someone commented on my latest one saying, like, you just showed, like, a 13-year-old girl sucking Draco Malfoy's dick. And it's like, well, you don't actually see it, it's just implied, so... I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no. I'm not actually written in any sex jokes in this latest one yet.
Okay.
There's still time.
Yeah.
But that's something I've sort of trying to avoid. Maybe not because I think it's inappropriate, just because I've overdone them at this point.
Yeah. I think that. Well, kind of like we were just talking about a little while ago about running jokes about how they do eventually tend to get old. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you didn't have any, then you would probably get a lot of people complaining.
Well, yeah. Well, something I experimented with with my latest one was sort of doing, I don't know, fourth wall breaking meta jokes where I sort of like comment about the joke I've just made or something.
Oh yeah.
Like it would cut to Michael Rosen just saying, "Oh, that joke was out of order" or something.
Yeah.
Well, there's something like that in this latest one, which acknowledges the sex jokes being overused. So,
Okay.
if that actually ends up being in it, then it acknowledges the jokes. It acknowledges the jokes of being overused.
Yeah, fourth wall breaks are that's some of my favorite type of humor to use in my YTPs, and
Yeah.
I used to all the time kind of have like the video stop, like you were just saying, like have somebody comment on the video, but I kind of stopped that because. My most viewed video, Larry Man in the Friggin' Outer Space, there's a point where, like the video pauses and there's a comment thing, and if you were to look at the comments in that video, about 75% of them are just people quoting that comment. And
that's just it. In my latest one, I do the same thing where it pans out of the video and has someone's comment there,
mm-hmm.
and it's the comment is just like another plain joke. You're just plain running out of ideas at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said to my friends, because I always show my poops to my friends before I upload it, just to see if it actually gets a laugh out of them. And I said to them when it came up, I just said, how many people are going to be quoting that comment now? And I just knew everyone would quote that comment.
Yeah.
Which was fine. I'm not against it, but
yeah, I'm not either. It's just when you get. Every other comment you get is just quoting a part of the video. It does tend to get for me anyway, it tends to get a little bit annoying.
Yeah, but someone was dedicated enough to actually go to the effort of creating the account name that is on the video and the profile picture that's on the video.
Okay.
So that's the one that I thought, well, if they've gone to that effort, I may as well thumbs that one up and pin it.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that's not the only reason why I don't really use jokes like that anymore. That is kind of a big reason why, but it's also, again, like I mentioned before, I try to avoid using the same type of joke too often to the point where it gets stale,
Yeah.
But I know I'm working on a YouTube poop right now, my 10K sub special, because I just passed 10,000 subscribers, and so I'm working at the one that I'm working on right now. I'm kind of for my 10K special, I'm trying to bring back as many jokes and references to my older videos as I possibly can, so there may or may not be something like that in my next one.
Well, I watch a few reaction videos to my poops, because some people have made reaction videos, and I encourage people to make reaction videos to my poops, because it works as it's better feedback than a comment, because you know the exact point where they've left or not.
Right.
Every time I watch them, it always makes me change what I'm going to do with the next one. Like, I'm trying not to linger on jokes as much anymore, because if that joke doesn't get a laugh out of someone, then they're just kind of sitting there awkwardly in silence for a while.
Yeah, I know. It seems like there seems to be a pretty big amount of people who don't really like reaction videos. Actually, it seems like you.
I can pretty get why people don't. It's just
right. Yeah, but I mean, well, I think if you're going to be reacting to like a movie trailer or something like that, I don't really get that. But when it comes to like a YouTube poop, like you said, I really like when people do reactions to my YouTube poops, because then I can see in real time, and just see what they thought in real time. Because I know sometimes I've watched a YouTube poop that I really liked, but I just don't really have any kind of comment that I could leave on it. But with a reaction video, you kind of already have your, you can kind of see exactly what they thought.
What's on?
I was just gonna ask Logan if he's still there. I don't think he's said a single word this entire time.
Yeah, I haven't had anything to add, so I just haven't said anything.
Okay, well, if you do have anything to add, you can always add it.
Okay.
All right. What were you going to say then?
Fine, I'll just continue.
Okay.
Yeah, I took a big sort of risk with my poops in the sense that one of the most important things with a YouTube video, with any YouTube video,
Mm-hmm.
is to try and grip the audience straight away, so they will want to watch the whole video.
Right.
But all of my videos start slowly, which is why I took a big risk, because it's easy for people to click off at that time, which is why I'm sort of surprised that they've got as many views as they've got.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really keen to recreate the intros of the films as perfectly as possible, because I just kind of thought it was funny, and I really like the intros to the films anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always sort of wanted to recreate them, and this sort of gives me an excuse to recreate them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Plus, if people see that, oh, they put all this effort into just creating the Warner Brothers logo, what's the rest of the video going to be like? It
Right.
sort of encourages them to stick around. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I know with the fact that your editing is so clean and professional looking, I know that since I haven't seen Harry Potter, there are occasionally moments where I kind of have to wonder, if that's actually been edited or not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, a few people have said that.
mhm.
My friend actually helps me out with the 3D logos,
Okay.
because I'm not 100% keen on using Blender and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I more prefer using After Effects and more 2D based editing software.
Okay.
So yeah, my friend helps me out with that. But it's almost like the intro is like a sub project within the main project, which is the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
Where we will just go on a Skype call, screen share, just make sure every detail is as perfect as we can get it, and then composite all of it together.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. Hopefully it looks good. You were saying something, I think, before I went off on that tangent.
I think that I was just going to I think that's just when I was going to ask Logan if he was still there. I think there must be like a second or two delay between our Skype calls, because I notice I keep accidentally almost interrupting you, and that's not intentional.
Is there something you want to add? Is there something Logan wants to add?
What?
Did you have anything?
Did you want to add something?
Well, no, I didn't have anything to say.
You don't have anything to say at all?
No, not really.
Okay. I know I had more I was going to ask. I think, like I said, this is only our second episode, first time we've ever had a guest on. I think for the future, I should probably write down my questions and stuff like that. I know. Well, I think I kind of feel like maybe I don't necessarily work better just going off the top of my head, but I feel more comfortable going off the top of my head, because I know whenever I do like updates and announcements and stuff like that, I always say that I didn't word things as good as I could have. I forgot to mention a couple things, and people are always telling me that I should just start scripting them, but I don't want to do that, and I kind of feel like that might be a similar thing for these. But I guess I probably should have at least written down a couple of things.
It's faff to script things. Some people like to plan things a lot. Some people don't, and just like to wing it. It just works for different people.
And that's I guess I do have another thing I was going to ask. You said before that you did you say you actually write out your YTP ideas, like you actually script them out?
Yeah, I'm looking at the notepad right now. Because so much editing has to go into it, and a lot of it takes place in different editing softwares. I usually just plan it all ahead.
Mm-hmm.
There's always room for me to improvise little bits here and there as I'm making it, but I do like to get the main ones planned out.
Okay, yeah.
And the thing is, because I'm such a big Harry Potter fan, and I know the film so well, often I don't even have to look at the film to know if a joke would work or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know them off by heart so well. Yeah,
I know of at least one other person, MP Carlson. I know scripts out his videos, and I've scripted out one of my.
I was watching some of his stuff the other day.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like mashed bandicoots. This mashed bandicoot thing was like amazing.
Yeah, he makes really good comedic YouTube poops. But I know I've tried scripting out. Well, I made one YouTube poop. I don't know if you saw my April Fool's Day video, but that was something I scripted out. And I made,
is that the Michael Rosen one?
that was well, I changed the name. I changed it to. I'm pretty sure it's Link Pirates a movie.
Oh no, yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that and thinking, well, I saw the behind the scenes and I thought, blimey, he did all that in Blender. That must have been.
Yeah, that was actually a lot of fun to do. I mean, it took a lot of work, but yeah. So I scripted that out, and you know the video, the King's Nostalgia Trip is well, I scripted out a majority of that, but I ended up changing a bunch of it. I mean, I guess it's kind of different when you're doing a story-based YouTube poop, because sometimes sentence mixing just doesn't work out right, and you have to change it on the fly.
Yeah. Oh, I'm rubbish at sentence mixing. That's one of my weakest things. But I always try and do it anyway.
Yeah, I know. I try to push myself, but not too far. You know, like if there's a point where the sentence mixing just does not work right at all. You know, I know. It seems like a lot of people will put text up for what it is, and I'm not trying to say that you know they're bad for doing that or whatever. But I usually just scrap the sentence mixing and start over with something new.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I scrap it. Or other times I mock how bad it is. Like in my latest one, there's a bit where rather than Hagrid saying Buckbeak's been sentenced to death, he says Buckbeak's been sentence mixed.
Oh, yeah.
But mixed sounds so bad, I sort of put subtitles in, and like the word mixed is like all jagged and everything, just to sort of take the piss out of how bad it was. But
yeah, I think it's important that you can poke fun at yourself. I think there are some people who, you know, they're good at making YouTube poops, but they kind of take it a little bit too seriously.
Yeah.
But I guess you can get to the point where you don't really take it serious enough. Like I know there's some people who just think that it's just pointless little videos that you should just kind of pump out as much as you can and just let them be forgotten. But I know, well, you for sure are one of the people who definitely knows to put time and effort into each one of your videos.
Yeah, it's always a significant project because it takes me months to sort of make one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like some people might just open like a Sony Vegas project and just splice just anything together, and that could turn out amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way they work. But you know, other people like me plan the video, take a lot of time to make it, and even then, sometimes it might be crap.
Yeah.
I really don't like my Thomas one.
Oh,
I think
really?
the Thomas one's. I think it's terrible.
Oh.
I don't mean to crush anyone who loves it.
Yeah.
If you love it, great. But I think that was a big mistake making that Thomas one. I don't like it.
Yeah, I know. I've made a couple YouTube poops before that I just really don't like, but it seems like even then they have their fans. Like I know my video that I think is my worst one, my 50 subscriber special. I know that one still probably about once every other week or so I'll still get a comment on people saying, like I think one of my most recent comments was somebody saying that it's their favorite video on YouTube, and I almost want to say why. You know, why is that your favorite video? But at the same time, it's, you know what, I shouldn't be upset that they like something that I made, even if I don't personally like it.
Well, some people think it's just not good to publicly shoot yourself down at all because it might be someone's bread and butter, whereas you might not like it, but you don't really want to crush the people who love it.
Right.
I don't know. Weird. It's a double-edged sword, really.
Yeah. So, I was just kind of thinking about this the other day, and just kind of wondering, have you ever considered doing projects with other people, like doing tennis matches or joining collabs or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually invited at one point. I invited someone to do a collab, but they said yes at first and they declined. Since then, I've not really tried since.
Okay.
The thing is, YouTube Poops are always just like a side project for me anyway. I know they probably shouldn't be since my account is as popular as it is, but I don't know. It's always something I do sort of every once in a while, and that's why there's so much time in between my uploads, because I'll make one, it'll take a few months to make, then I'll just have a few months break, and then it'll take me another few months to make it. So that's about half a year in between uploads.
Okay. And well, while we're on the topic, I'm just kind of curious. What do you do outside of YouTube Poop? I mean, you know, you don't have to get super personal or whatever if you don't want to, but just kind of curious to know what you do outside of making videos.
Well, I've got a part-time job. I only work 2 days a week at the minute.
Okay.
Which is both a blessing because it means I've got plenty of time to myself, but it's a curse when you look at the bank account.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I'd quite like to get into VFX, but God knows how you do that. Also, if you look at my second channel, which is just my name, you'll see just other random projects I work on, just effects-based projects based on like shows and films that I like.
Okay. Have you ever? I don't know if you. Have you ever made anything like completely original, like shot and edited your own short film or anything like that? And if you haven't, have you ever considered doing something like that?
Yes, I consider it. It's made crappy Doctor Who fan films in the past. Okay. Where even though that's not original because it's taking something that already exists. Obviously, I've scripted it and filmed. I say scripted, improvised it. It was way back in the day.
Okay.
Not even going to bother to go into it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that sometimes though, fan films like that can kind of blow up. I know. Have you ever? Are you a fan of like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that?
I've never seen Lord of the Rings. No.
Oh, okay. So I know there was a fan film a few years ago where they, since you're not really familiar with it, I won't get too much into detail what it was about, but it was they made it on a very small budget, and I know that actually got really popular. It's actually pretty interesting fan film.
Yeah. Well, I've got a few fan films in mind that I'd like to do at some point of various different things, but time will tell if anything comes of them. But yeah. I used to well, actually, long before I started making YouTube Poops, I had a excuse me, I had a YouTube channel where I'd make videos. I remember me and my friend started our own little series. That's actually where my name, Jimmy Davis, that's just my channel name, not my real name. We created a series called Jimmy and Johnny, where eventually we ended up almost making a movie back when I was, when was this? This was 2010, so I was 16. I remember we had like, I think we got 45 minutes worth of footage done, but it was only about a third of the movie, so we never finished it. And I kind of wish we would have, because I know I really do want to make a movie or something like that at some point, because I really do like other aspects of filmmaking aside from just editing, even though I don't think I'm necessarily great at any of it. Yeah, that's why I sort of say like YouTube Poops is more of like a side project, even though it probably shouldn't be, because I prefer to prioritize these other ideas for like fan films and things that I'd rather do, but yet even though I prioritize them, nothing ever seems to come of them. So, yeah, that's the problem. I am trying to focus more on the channel. Like, I've got a few ideas about where I'd like to take the channel if I put more time into it, like work on different sources and things. Obviously, I'll still make the Harry Potter ones, but I'm thinking about doing some Doctor Who ones.
Okay.
But even then, I'm not sure. It's always a danger if you're known for doing a certain source, how well your current audience is going to take to that.
Right. Yeah, I know. When I first started out, I did almost entirely VeggieTales YouTube Poops, and then when I switched over to doing other ones, for the longest time, every time I'd upload any video at all, I would always get comments of people asking me what my next VeggieTales YouTube Poop was. And then eventually I did upload I did upload a VeggieTales YouTube Poop at one point, after I'd kind of taken a break for a long time, and then somebody got mad that I did that and unsubscribed because of that, so... I know.
Again, that's another double-edged sword.
Yeah. Have you ever? Do you think you would ever consider using a more traditional YouTube poop source, like a CDI or like the older Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons, stuff like that?
Probably not. I'm not familiar with them to do any. Well, I am familiar with them. Obviously, I'm well aware of them. But I mean, I don't know them enough to do anything original with them.
Okay.
I would consider doing a SpongeBob one because I'm very familiar with SpongeBob.
Yeah.
A lot of people growing up at a certain age know a lot of episodes of SpongeBob just by heart.
Right.
So.
And, I think the thing with SpongeBob, I don't know for sure if I've mentioned this before on. I think I mentioned it in a Q&A that I never uploaded, but I think the thing with SpongeBob is that there are a lot of episodes that people don't use. There's really only about a dozen episodes that people tend to use, and there's like 200 episodes.
It's usually like seasons 1 to 3 are usually like the
there's
the golden years of SpongeBob.
Right. Yeah. There's like the Krusty Krab training video.
It's funny that I said I made old shitty YouTube poops back in the day. That was one of the episodes that I used. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think even before I started making YouTube poops, I think I wanted to do a YouTube poop of the Krusty Krab training video, make it like the YouTube poop training video. But I think that somebody already did something like that.
It rings a bell. Someone taking it out of context for it to be something else or whatever.
Well, and I know that they do literally mention poop in that episode, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think we might need to kind of start to wrap things up here. I thought we'd have more time, but I guess today's Logan's high school graduation reception, so we need to get going to that pretty soon. But we do have enough time for a couple more questions.
Right.
I guess first of all,
shame we're not doing this live. Otherwise, we could have had some viewer questions.
Yeah. Actually, that's something I've thought of doing at
we
some
could
point.
We could go to Twitter and ask for questions.
Well, it's a little late for that. By the time we tweeted about it, we probably wouldn't get many responses. Maybe next time, when we have a guest, I should make an announcement video for it and have people ask questions. But I guess the first thing, this is just kind of not really a personal question, but this is something I've kind of been curious to know about. This is going to be a really stupid question, but I added Michael Rosen in a YouTube poop a while ago, and I referred to him as being British, and somebody corrected me and said that he's not British, he's English. So I'm just wondering, what's the difference? Because I tried doing a Google search for that, because Wikipedia has him listed as being both British and being English, and so I tried doing a Google search and I couldn't find any definitive answers. So,
well, I'm probably the wrong person to ask this, because even though I live here, I'm a bit dumb to it. But I think it's British is Scotland, Wales, and England.
Okay.
Which I think that's what it is, and then England is just the England part of that. English is the English part of it.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, that was a stupid question, but I just figured I'd ask, because like I said, I did a Google search, and I thought it'd take like 30 seconds on Google, but I found like 2 different answers.
It's not wrong to call him British anyway. But.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured that it would just be kind of like the difference would be, like calling him British would be more of like slang, whereas English would maybe be more correct. But yeah.
No, it's just narrowing it down to a more specific region.
Okay. And then I guess the last thing that I want to ask is I think I'll probably do this for everybody else that we do these interviews for, which is for people who haven't watched your channel yet. What would be the first video of yours that you recommend they watch? And I can link it in the description for here.
If they're coming from this, they've obviously watched your video, so I'd probably suggest my latest one, which is Harry Potter and the Smiley Tubers Part 2, even though it's the second part, a two-parter. The style's a bit different. Okay. It's a little bit closer to a standard YouTube poop, so yeah, that would be the one to go for.
Okay.
Even then, you might not like it, because...
Yeah, well, I mean, like we were talking about before, there's so many different types of YouTube poops out there, and different types of YouTube poop fans that you never really know until you watch it. I mean, I try to give every YouTube poop channel that I watch, I try to watch like I really should have had water with me here, but
my mouth's gone really dry as well. That's why my voice is kind of going a bit weird.
Yeah. I'll be more prepared next time. But anyway, whenever I find a new channel, I try to give it like a minimum of like 3 videos before I decide whether or not I like their content. And I was going to ask for your recommendation for 3 YouTube poops, but I think if I did that, that would be like half of your YouTube poops. I mean, you can give suggestions for other, if you wanted to give 3 different suggestions, and I can link those in the description.
Are we talking about mine or just anyone's?
Just yours. So for people who have never heard of you before, never watched your videos, what would be like the 3 that you would recommend they start with? Like the 3 that best represent your videos, the 3 that you're the most proud of.
Probably Flesh Eating Flugger Parent Part 1, that's the very first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then Smelly Old Tube Brush Part 1 and 2.
Okay. So basically just anything but the Thomas the Tank Engine one.
Yeah, also Part 2 of Flesh Eating Slugger Parent I'm not a big fan of, but I prefer that to the Thomas one.
Okay. Alright, well I think that's going to be it. Sorry that, I thought for sure we were going to have more time to do this, but I guess we were kind of running out of stuff to say near the end, but
15 minutes according to the Skype call.
Yeah. So again, thank you for taking the time to do this. Again, sorry it wasn't as planned out as it probably should have been. But yeah, I never know how to start videos, and I never know how to end them. So I guess do you have anything to add at the end?
Watch my videos.
Okay. That'll
even
work.
if you don't like them, just watch them.
Okay. Yeah, that works. So like I said, I'll link to your channel in the description. I'll link to those 3 videos you recommended. And also before I end this, I did forget from the first episode we did get a bit of fan art that I'll show up on the screen right here. I think.
Wow, that's amazing.
Hmm?
I said, wow, that's amazing, even though I can't see it.
Yeah. Well, it actually is amazing. It's by WoopDooCrafter.
I'll see it when the final video comes up.
So yeah, I think if we get any fan art, we'll try to show it off and give everybody a shout out for that. So before we go, Logan, did you have any questions or anything to add, or just are you just enjoying
No, nothing that I can think of.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I guess that's it, and thanks for being a part of this. Again, like I said, you can check out TheMasterPoop. The link for his channel will be in the description, and yeah, I never know how to end these, so I'll just end it with that then. Bye.
Bye-bye.